Hi, today's what if question is what if awesome didn't exist? Now, does awesome exist? I guess that's a good place to start. But do we create it? Is there any way we can control it? So the first question is not only does awesome exist, but where does it come from? Does it come from us? And if it comes from us, is there any ways that we can control it or manipulate it in some ways? Well, regardless, everyone seems to want as much awesome as we can get. After all, a world without awesome isn't a world in which you'd want to live, right? Well, what if it were up to you to seek and create awesome wherever you are, wherever you go, and whatever you do, or it would disappear? Could you do it? So if you were responsible for all the awesome in the world, wherever you went and whatever you did, could you do it? Could you take on that responsibility of generating all the awesome? Well, if so, how would your life change? How would your community change? How would the world change if we created and shared the awesome we find all around us with others? So what if awesome isn't only something that we create, but it's something that we need to share? How would everything change if everything that you found was awesome, you shared it with others so they could experience it as well? Well, what if every day were an awesome day? Well, believe it or not, for everyone who lived before the end of the 16th century, awesome didn't exist. Well, at least the English word for it didn't exist until around the 1590s. But it makes you wonder, if the word for it didn't exist, did it actually exist? Can something exist when there's not a word for it? I'm sure it can, but what are other examples of this that you can think of where something exists but there isn't a word for it, or there isn't a word for it yet, right? Well, awesome didn't exist until around the 1590s. And if people from way back then, the 1590s, were to time travel to today, they'd discover the meaning of awesome has changed a bit with time. You see, according to the online etymology dictionary, the first definition of awesome was profoundly reverential. Then about 80 years later, its meaning was downgraded a bit to inspiring awe. By 1961, awesome only meant impressive or very good. Well, what's up with that? It wasn't until the 1980s, though, that the word really became trendy. So you can see with this word and other words, it changes over time, though, our relationship with it, what it means and how we use it. But what if you could determine the next definition for this awesome word? How would you define what's awesome? So we already have a history of this word changing over time with slightly different meanings. What if we knew that now we can predict that it'll change again in the future? And what if it's up to you to give a new definition or meaning to what awesome really is? For today's deep dive, we have a little history on a really important historical figure, Harvey Milk, civil, human, and gay rights activist politician. You see, awesome means different things to different people. For Harvey Milk, awesome didn't exist yet. He wanted the gay community to gain a voice in politics. That would be awesome. In the 1960s, Milk started to become more involved in politics, leading to his eventual appointment to San Francisco's Board of Permit Appeals. Harvey Milk was the first openly gay city commissioner in the United States. In 1977, Milk was elected to the San Francisco City Council supervisor position, where he helped protect gay rights, establish daycare centers for working mothers, the conversion of military facilities in the city to low-cost housing, reform of the tax code to attract industry to deserted warehouses and factories, and so many other issues as a politician. Well, Harvey Milk and the mayor, unfortunately, were assassinated by Dan White on November 27th, 1978. That night, thousands of supporters held a candlelight vigil in Milk's honor. Milk Day was created in 2009 as a California holiday in tribute to Harvey Milk. He lived in a time with less acceptance of the gay community, inspired others to come out to share their story and shift public opinion. So you can see awesome means many different things to many different people. And while some people may have awesome today, for others, it's a pursuit, the pursuit of awesomeness. And hopefully this will inspire you to not only more appreciate what awesome is, but to consider that maybe awesome's a responsibility. You know, what if it's up to us to create awesome? But just as importantly, what if it's up to us to define and give meaning to awesome? Because we've seen in history it's changed over time what it means. So as you leave today, don't only appreciate what's all the awesomeness in the world, but think about what you can do to make the world a more awesome place. Thanks again for getting curious. Keep healthy and stay curious.